Road Train, the longest road-going vehicle in the world and the strongest. This heavy hauler is headed into dangerous territory.
It's the wrong time, wrong temperature.
On a mission to bring electricity to an isolated region of South Africa.
Big problem.
Tuberine, tunneling behemoth. Digging Dusseldorf's new subway system, the monster has reached a critical point beneath the city's busiest streets.
Without the target, we cannot drive.
Das ist nicht gut.
Legend, high-tech guardian of America's seas. An incredible first look at this cutting-edge law enforcement dreadnought as the crew trains to protect the USA from drug runners.
Stop your vessel immediately or you may be fired upon!
KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. The country's aging power network is at breaking point. The nation's electricity provider, Eskom, is doing everything it can to take the strain off the grid. Here at the port of Richards Bay, they're shipping in a state-of-the-art electrical transformer, vital for powering 3 million homes. This critical piece of hardware weighs a massive 406 tons, the weight of 250 family cars. And its destination, Tutuka Power Station, is 850 kilometers away, 9 days' journey across a fearsome mountain range. Attempting to move a load this heavy across terrain this tough would simply destroy any ordinary truck. If they're going to keep the lights on in northern KwaZulu-Natal, they need something really special. Road Train. 6 of the world's largest trucks, sandwiching a high-tech trailer to form the world's longest road-going vehicle. Each truck is a self-contained haulage unit capable of pulling loads of up to 80 tons. But when they're faced with something truly massive, they're designed to link together with as many trucks as it takes to get the job done. Weight, 1,100 tons. Length, 160 meters. Engine, 6,000 horsepower. For this job, 5 trucks pull, with the 6th providing extra pushing power from the rear. The 338-wheeled, multi-articulated, shock-absorbing trailer protects the load from any damaging bangs and jolts. Road Train, a Herculean hauler coming to the rescue of a nation's overstretched power grid. Managing the monster is oversized load expert Dennis Child.
This is the first time we've come down this route with this cargo. You know, it's 60 ton heavier than we normally move.
He's assembled a crack team to run Road Train and its €10 million cargo. Lead driver Lucas Scully Vandenberg.
There's no room for error here. One mistake and could be fatal.
Transport coordinator Rudi Terblanche.
So far, so good.
And load supervisor Solly Ricoto.
Slowly, slowly, Scholar, slowly, slowly.
But the rest of the team are less experienced. And for them, this journey will be a baptism of fire. 6 a.m. Dennis hopes to get over the mountains in just 3 days. Before Road Train can move, they need to carry out vital safety checks.
Okay, Sam, from the back.
Being able to stop their 1,100-ton vehicle in an emergency is a priority, so they test all 80 sets of brakes. On a monster like this, a flat tire is a maintenance nightmare, so all 388 trailer wheels are inspected.
Just gonna check on the other trolley again.
7:15 a.m. After more than an hour of exhaustive checking, Road Train can finally get underway. The crowded roads around the busy port of Richards Bay provide the first challenge for Road Train's crew. The team has a police escort to help ease them along. But road users are still a constant concern for Dennis and his crew. Only lead driver Scully has a clear view of the road ahead. So when he turns or accelerates, the drivers of the other 5 trucks have to follow his instructions over the radio, matching gears and revs to stop any part of the train pulling or lagging.
It's a big responsibility. I mean, there's a lot of money behind me and lives.
The rutted African roads provide a constant test for the driving team's coordination.
Division 5 going down slightly.
Progress is slow, and after 20 kilometers carrying its back-breaking 400,000 kilo load, Road Train comes to a halt. There's a problem with one of the truck's engines.
There's the intercooler. Come off. So it doesn't have power now.
Without an intercooler, the engine loses 50% of its grunt. And the first major climb is just around the corner.
Obviously, we'll try our best to fix it. If we can't, we'll just off-hook it and carry on with the other 5 trucks. But for the mountains that's ahead, it's going to be hard pulling for the other 5.
For Big Boss Dennis, it's a massive worry.
In this combination, you cannot afford to have one that's underpowered, because then all the other ones are now pulling the donkey.
Düsseldorf, Germany. The city center is nearing total gridlock. The solution? A state-of-the-art 21st century subway. But this heaving German metropolis is built on a soft mix of dirt and sand. The subway system will snake for 6 kilometers beneath Düsseldorf's most valuable real estate. And carving this subterranean railway without putting a hole in the city center will take a truly incredible machine. Tuberine. Weight 1,300 tons. Length 65 meters. Crew 30. Mounted on a 115-ton cutting face, the teeth rip through rock with 2 megawatts of raw power.
It's a little bit animal inside.
The mammoth machine consists of 4 main sections: the cutter head, pumping station, and tunnel lining section, with a built-in control center at the rear. The beast shifts its incredible bulk at a top speed of just 2 meters an hour, using 14 hydraulic pistons, each one capable of lifting a tank. Tunneling under the city center is a job beyond the capabilities of any ordinary tunneling machine. A tunnel failure could see millions of tons of rocks shifting beneath the city's feet in seconds.
Worst case, that would be a crater on the surface. And that would be, a disaster.
For this job, Tuberine is manned by a team of elite tunnelers. Crew: Chief Engineer Marcus Brack. Brack needs to keep this €300 million project on time and on budget.
We're losing lots of time. Delay of at least 4 or 5 hours.
Shift engineer Slobodan Martinovic is in charge of troubleshooting any technical problems. Helmsman Henning Holm. 27 years tunneling experience, and for this job, he's gonna need it.
I need the target. Without the target, we cannot drive.
6 a.m. The crack tunneling crew is starting the day shift. Today, the monster machine will pass beneath several historic buildings right in the heart of the city. Everyone knows they've got to bring their A game to do 15 meters digging by the end of the shift at 6 p.m. Tuberine digs her hole under Dusseldorf with 11 huge electric motors, each powering a single spinning tooth. Then the dug dirt is mixed with water to form a slurry that Tuberine pumps away through 20 kilometers of pipework. Stopping the hole collapsing behind her is harder, much harder. To stop herself being buried alive with all hands, Tuberine turns into a titanic heavyweight lifter. As she moves forward, Tuberine lines the tunnel wall with 47-ton sections of curved concrete. They're held in place just by the pressure of the surrounding earth. So precise positioning of each piece is critical. High-power vacuum pads maneuver each arc of concrete into place. Henning controls his 60-ton robotic arm with laser guidance to ensure millimeter accuracy. One wrong move, and it's Auf Wiedersehen to Henning and his crew. The Eastern Pacific, just off California. These waters are some of the busiest in the world. But not all the cargoes are welcome. The US is a magnet for drug runners who smuggle $100 billion of narcotics into its cities every year. This illegal trade causes untold misery and despair. The job of protecting 160,000 kilometers of coastline falls to the United States Coast Guard. And when things get really tough, they turn to the legend. Weight, 4,500 tons. Speed, 30 knots. Length, 127 meters. A 57-millimeter main gun, 6 heavy machine guns, and an anti-missile defense system give it more firepower than 100 infantry soldiers. The 50,000 horsepower from her gas turbine and diesel engines provides the speed they need to hunt down any incoming threat.
We can cover hundreds of miles a day in the roughest seas anywhere, anytime.
State-of-the-art radar systems give her the ability to detect and track hundreds of targets across thousands of miles of sea.
Stop your vessel immediately or you may be fired upon!
Legend, America's Guardian. Crew, Captain Kelly Hatfield, the man in charge of this $640 million mean machine.
We have the ability to interdict those small, fast-moving vessels with both our weapon systems and our small boats.
Chopper Ace, Lieutenant Commander Barry B.J. Miles, on call 24/7 to scramble for a helicopter intercept or rescue.
We know there's somebody out there. We've been given our search pattern that we're going to go execute. And we've got, a couple hours worth of gas. We've given everything we got.
Bosun's mate first class, Shakar Ben David, handles business when it gets up close and personal.
This is the Coast Guard. Stop your vessel. Heave 2, prepare to be boarded.
The Legend's 110-strong crew is under pressure. Drug trade is increasing, and the US government is investing $2 billion in state-of-the-art ships to protect America's shores. Wasted money unless the Legend's crew can show they're up to the job.
This next patrol, we look forward to going down south and getting some big busts, get the taxpayers of America a return on their investment.
As America's first line of defense, Captain Hatfield needs to know his crew are razor sharp. Today, he's putting them through an exercise to find out who's got the right stuff for one of the toughest jobs in law enforcement, and who's not making the grade.
Decimal 0 north.
The Legend's crew have been tipped off about a fast boat racing for the coast carrying $1 million of illegal narcotics and 5 fugitives from the United States government.
We got the coordinates for the last known position of the vessel. Let's put a track line in, make best possible speed to that location.
9:26 a.m. and the mission is on. The surface search radar is blue-chip technology, but the gangster's vessel is too small to give a clear signal on the radar screens. To track it down, the Legend deploys the Dolphin. Two MH-65C helicopters give the Legend high-speed eyes in the sky, capable of seeing beyond the horizon. On a normal chopper, Lieutenant Commander Barry Miles would be too busy flying to join the effort. But the Dolphin is no ordinary helicopter. It's the only helicopter in the world capable of sophisticated flying without a pilot. In its advanced autopilot mode, the helicopter can trace a grid search pattern across the sea, leaving Barry free to join the search effort.
It'll do some pretty amazing things. It'll take it down to a 50-foot hover over the water, hands off, so that we can concentrate on looking.
12:18 p.m. Dolphin 1 has scoured the ocean surface for hours. There's still no sign of the bad boys, and now it's almost out of fuel. The crew has to turn back to the Legend. But when Dolphin 1 starts its approach to the ship, it's waved off. If there was a casualty on the flight deck, medics wouldn't be able to work with chopper blades blowing a gale, and the crew has to train to handle scenarios like this. With the landing pad off limits, the only way to avoid ditching in the ocean is to take on fuel from the fast-moving ship while hovering in mid-air.
So we have a crew that's been out on a mission for several hours. They are running low on fuel, so we're gonna go ahead and fuel them in flight. That's gonna extend their range and allow them to go back out and take care of business.
HIFR, helicopter in-flight refueling, one of the trickiest maneuvers in the book. A hovering chopper builds a massive charge of static electricity, and if a spark reaches the fuel, it could result in a huge fireball. They might be training, but this danger is very real.
Let's go, we got 5 minutes.
The crew of the Legend-class cutter has to be ready for this nightmare scenario.
If it were to explode, it would cause a huge, huge damage to the ship and, more importantly, to the personnel. Fire reports, I'm in at 36 bulkhead.
Dangerously low on fuel, pilot Barry Miles must keep the Dolphin steady while his winchman gets the fuel pumping. Dolphin 1 is back in the chase. But the complex refueling maneuver has given the drug runners a massive head start, and the Legend's crew are dangerously close to failing in their mission. KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. A damaged engine has brought Road Train to a halt. Veteran trucker Scully has been working flat out for hours to come up with a makeshift repair. Now the steep hills ahead will put it to the test. This is the grinder. A hairpin junction followed by a vicious 5-kilometer climb that pushes man and machine to the limit.
This is the test, because we've never been this way before with a 406-ton transformer.
Road Train has to stop short of the hairpin junction. She's far too long to make it around. The only way through is to unhitch the trailer and move the trucks round individually.
But make sure everyone is ready.
Even with just 2 trucks connected, the trailer can barely make it round the bend. They hope the fragile transformer can withstand a brush with nature. To protect the precious cargo, the trailer is rigged with sensors that record any jolts or impacts. If the sensors are triggered more than once, it could mean the transformer is damaged and the Road Train team will have failed in their mission. With consummate skill, Road Train's handlers clear the corner and begin hitching up again. The slow progress is creating a new issue. It is now the hottest part of the day. Temperatures are hitting 30 Celsius. Engines could overheat and lose vital power.
It's going to be a difficult climb because we're going to have to go very, very slowly, and most of the vehicles will be running at their maximum load and maximum temperature, engine temperature, and that's concerning. It's the wrong time, wrong temperature, big problem.
More delay only means more problems. They have to risk the ascent.
All right, going up, step out.
Pulling and pushing 406 tons up the steep gradient puts a massive strain on Road Train's stabilizing trailer. But Road Train's power wins through, and Scully is delighted with the machine's performance.
This is my second wife. She's my life, my bread, my butter, and she doesn't talk back with any other problems. Whatever I give her, she just takes it and goes.
The Road Train has conquered the first climb. But unless her cargo has survived intact, the lights will stay out in KwaZulu-Natal. Düsseldorf, Germany. Beneath Düsseldorf's busiest streets, veteran tunneler Henning Holm is positioning pieces of tunnel lining with laser precision. This old hand doesn't put a foot wrong. Henning's precision guarantees safety, but progress is painfully slow. The pressure to keep up with the digging is intense, and the strain is starting to show. And shift engineer Martinovic has spotted something that could put a major spanner in the works.
Ja. Warum hat ein Ring geraden? Wollte einen rechten haben. Der Ring ist falsch.
The wrong-shaped concrete arc has been delivered to site. Martinovic faces a tough choice. Continue boring and leave the tunnel ceiling dangerously unsecured,
Das ist der falsche.
or call a halt to wait for the right piece of concrete to be delivered from 15 kilometers away. California coast, Pacific Ocean. Captain Kelly Hatfield is putting the crew of the Legend-class cutter through an exercise to find out if they've got what it takes for one of the world's toughest law enforcement jobs. They're chasing down a small, fast boat packed with narcotics and fugitives. 2:46 p.m. With the chase entering its 7th hour, Dolphin 1 spots the fugitives. They radio the Legend.
Chopper's been up in the sky searching for a while. We're on our way to the scene and we're getting our small boats ready so we can do everything possible to help.
Any ordinary ship has to slow down or stop to launch boats, giving the bad guys a chance to get away. But the Legend is no ordinary ship.
Now set boat lower in detail. The ready boat is the OTH.
Her specially designed hull allows for ultra-fast launches. With the push of a button, a door opens. The ocean rushes in, and the ribs are released straight into the chase. Legend can keep plowing through the waves while the fast, maneuverable pursuit boats get close enough to make an arrest. The interceptors gun their 300 horsepower engines in hot pursuit of the target vessel. The chase is on, but Captain Hatfield stays icy.
We try and stay calm. We try and rely on our training so that we can get the mission done.
When the Coast Guard is apprehending dangerous drug dealers, they don't take any chances.
Stop your vessels! This is the Coast Guard. Stop your vessel immediately or you may be fired upon.
The Legend's formidable array of weapons offers the smugglers a stark choice. Eternity in Davy Jones' locker, or a hard stint in a United States slammer.
Everybody place your hands where I can see them.
Even on a training exercise, the boarding team makes sure they've got the bad guys covered before setting foot on the boat.
Boarding team is on board. 3 boarding team members over the rail with positive control of the vessel.
They soon have the suspects under control. But this mission isn't just the simple drug bust the Legend's crew was expecting. In a desperate escape attempt, one of the criminals has gone into the water, and now they've got to track him down in the vastness of the ocean. California coast, Pacific Ocean. 200 miles out to sea, the US Coast Guard is training to chase down drug runners. But now the scenario faces them with a new challenge: a man overboard.
How many people are on board?
One of the drug runners is floating somewhere out in the open ocean.
Roger. Understood. There's been a report of a man overboard on the suspect vessel. Let's get set and drift plotted and set a search pattern.
Yes, I believe so.
This is now law enforcement and search and rescue. And if the missing bandit gets away, it's mission failure. KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. The crews of the world's heaviest hauling road vehicle are getting ready to face the final day of punishing hill climbs. Before the road train can start moving, Rodi is checking whether the 10 million euro cargo has survived the first 200 kilometers of hard road.
You must check the impact recorders inside here. We'll show you there's no impacts.
The load has survived its first day on the road. Wagons roll. Day 2's first challenge is a section of twisty road. The steep cambers spell trouble for trailer technician Solly.
Slowly, slowly, Scholar, slowly, slowly.
The trailer is articulated, allowing the load to swing around corners. But if the road slopes too much, the swings will become more violent. These could twist the beams supporting the precious transformer, or even cause the vehicle to flip. Suddenly, there's a worrying screeching from under the trailer.
There's something that's making us, I don't know what is that. I just want to check it now.
Fearing the worst, they pull over. Solly and the crew check for the source of the noise. The trailer's steering arm is bent. On the steep curves, the trailer has leant over so far that the bent steering arm has rubbed on the tires, gouging out massive pieces of rubber. Road Train was only seconds from a disastrous mass blowout. They can go no further. To fix this problem, they have to call in a welder. He bends the steering arm up away from the damaged tires, then reconnects it to the trailer. Hoping this latest repair will hold, the team sets off again. But the journey ahead holds a surprise, beyond anything even Road Train's veteran crew have ever seen. Düsseldorf, Germany. 23 meters beneath Düsseldorf's bustling streets, the tunnel-boring beast known as Tuberine has hit trouble. Without the right-shaped sections of concrete to line the freshly dug tunnel, they can't make forward progress. Shift engineer Martinovic is forced to halt operations.
Sollte nicht passieren. I have to talk with the guys after the shift.
This one mistake is already costing thousands of euros, and if it's not fixed fast, the bill will just keep getting bigger.
We're losing lots of time. Delay of at least 4 or 5 hours.
Above ground, amidst an unsuspecting public, Tuburine's team of surveyors keep a constant watch. If the tunneling causes the slightest shift in ground levels, these men must detect it before it can jeopardize surrounding buildings. The ground above Tuburine's cutting heads should be prevented from collapsing by a layer of compressed air. This giant air bubble is monitored constantly to ensure it stays at a level of 2.4 times the atmospheric pressure. If it gets any higher, the results could be disastrous. Bursting through the rocks, a volcano of high-pressure mud slurry could erupt in Dusseldorf's historic heart. For now, the pressure is holding steady. The crew finds the right-shaped concrete arc, and they rush it the 15 kilometers to the rock face. By the time Tuburine's robotic arm finally swings the arc into position, they've lost 2 hours of digging time. As Tuburine starts up again, the rumbles of her work echo through the darkness of the tunnel. But something's still not right. Chief Engineer Marcus Brack is straight onto the problem.
Ja, Markus hier. Servus, Henning.
Hello, Marcus.
Tuburine's guidance computer is jammed, and the 1,300-ton monster machine is lurching out of control.
Wir fahren los, Schwester.
With the computer down, all the dials and gauges provide no information. Tuburine could be heading anywhere.
I need the target. Without the target, we cannot drive.
California coast, Pacific Ocean. 5:35 p.m. The training mission for the Legend's crew has switched from law enforcement to search and rescue. There's a man adrift in the ocean, and Dolphin 1 is on the case. But sunset is just half an hour away. Visibility for the searchers is getting worse with each passing minute. To maximize the man overboard's chances, Dolphin 2 flies a grid pattern around his last known position.
They're hypothermic, they're cold, it's dark. There's no worse feeling in the world than thinking that you just flew over that person, but you were fatigued and you didn't catch it.
Just as the sun starts to dip dangerously towards the horizon, the chopper's crew spots the fugitive in the water.
They're deploying the rescue swimmer.
The chopper deploys the rescue basket, and the helpless fugitive is winched up into the welcoming arms of justice.
751-130, we are in the Knoxville time.
As the news comes in of the successful rescue, the Legend's crew can relax. Mission accomplished.
Could be any time of day, any seas, any environment. You know, we train hard for it, we train professionally, we get out there and we get the job done.
With its crew honed to a razor edge by ultra-realistic training, the Legend is a fearsome guardian of America's waters and a high-tech angel of mercy for those in peril on the sea. Dusseldorf, Germany. The guidance computer on the 1,300-ton tunneling machine has failed.
Oh!
The risk of lurching out of control right beneath Dusseldorf's busiest streets is too extreme. The only option is a total shutdown. There's no time for complicated diagnostics. Helmsman Henning Holm has to reboot and hope the glitch has fixed itself.
Im Moment wird das nichts. We start to cut ahead.
Henning puts Tuberine straight into full throttle to catch up on lost time. At last, some rapid progress is easing pressure from the schedule. But her relentless grinding is tough on her teeth.
Henning hier.
Hallo Henning.
Manni, wir sind fertig.
Das ist nicht gut. We are losing penetrations, so we assume that some of the cutting discs, that they are gone. So we will have to stop for at least half a day and change the discs.
Unless the worn drill tooth is replaced, progress will slow to a crawl. 23 meters down, the cutting head is a high-pressure environment, and replacing a tooth in these conditions is a tough technical job. Slobodan calls in two of his top technicians, Olaf and Schwester. To get to the cutting face, Olaf and Schwester must first enter a pressurization chamber to give their bodies a chance to acclimatize. Then they must pass through an airlock to the cutting head itself.
Alles okay?
As soon as they're in the high-pressure environment, the clock is ticking. The pair are only allowed 3 hours to change the cutting disc. Any longer in there, and their health is at risk. With every hour of breathing high-pressure air, the risk that potentially deadly bubbles of gas will form in their blood increases.
I hope in 2-3 hours they will be out and everything will be okay, so we soon can start excavating again.
But everything is not okay. The bolts holding the broken cutting disc in position are corroded, and they're not budging.
Some of the screws, sometimes there's a lot of rust on it, so it's very difficult to get them out.
There's just 1 hour left before the mission must be abandoned.
Achtung!
With just minutes to spare, 150 kilos of hardened steel cutting tooth is replaced and Tuberine is ready to go again.
So, I start to cut ahead again.
But the triumphant repair crew doesn't get to party. Their only reward is 2.5 hours of decompression and the satisfaction of a job well done. All systems repaired, the mighty digger can plow ahead without posing a threat to the delicate city center above. Tuberine, a tunneling titan. KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. Road Train is carrying a 400-ton power transformer across the wilds of KwaZulu-Natal. But after weeks of dry weather, fires are sweeping across the hills. Road Train is forced to a halt.
A lot of smoke, as you can see there on top of the mountain. There's a lot of smoke. So we're just waiting to see what happens.
Dennis and Rodi go to assess the fire. A sawmill blaze is spreading, engulfing everything in its path.
All these people have lost everything. They've tried to move all their belongings, but all their buildings, it's all burnt down there. For the last 30 years, I've been watching. Last 5 years, I've been controlling it directly, and this is the first time I've seen this.
Fearing the situation could deteriorate, Rodi approaches the police.
Will you bring the truck through?
Which one?
The big one?
No, it's most difficult to bring that one up because that one is huge and you can see the visibility. It's not that good.
The fire could damage Road Train, her crew, and her precious cargo. Rudi relates the bad news to crew waiting a mile downwind.
The traffic department say no, we can't go through the smoke. You understand?
And we as a
it is of nature, that we can do nothing about it.
The team will have to wait for the fire to burn out. But at the sawmill, the situation is still deteriorating. The wind is picking up and it's blown a truck over in the middle of the road. The driver is unhurt, but the gusts are fanning the flames and the fire is growing.
And I don't think this fire is going to stop now. It's going to continue, and it seems to be jumping across the road as well now. That's the next fear. So the fire is going to start raging.
The fire is racing across the hills and straight towards Road Train. The road is tight. Turning around is not an option. The team's safety and their cargo are at risk. But just when the situation looks hopeless, the Road Train crew gets its first bit of luck. The wind changes direction. The police let them risk driving past the fire. If the wind changes back too soon, they could be caught in the flames. There's no time to lose. But as they reach the fire, the wind changes direction again. They can't stop. Scully engages top gear and powers on through. They clear the smoldering danger zone with seconds to spare and finish the last big climb of the journey. Safely back on level ground, Scully has to check whether Road Train's precious cargo has survived.
Lay-by is on the right-hand slide. Slow it down a bit. Not too much, don't Jäger, just slow up a little bit.
If the all-important impact sensors have been triggered, their epic journey will have been for nothing.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Still on zero. That's good news. I like that very much.
The cargo is safe, even after the journey of a lifetime.
100-kilometer journey. We've seen accidents. We've seen a huge fire. We've negotiated a breakdown on our tractor. We've had breakdown on the trailer which we've repaired.
Dennis and his team of raw recruits have beaten everything the route has thrown at them.
And from now on, it's plain sailing. It's just even ground, undulations up and down, but it's straightforward now. It's not a big issue.
Thanks to the mighty Road Train and its crew, 3 million homes will soon be getting all the juice they need at the flick of a switch.